We don't know where or to whom, if he was reborn as a girl or a boy. The only thing we know for certain is that this child is coming of age now, and we must find them before the dark does.
"20 years ago, a group of powerful men waged war on darkness and tried to contain it. However, despite their best efforts, they failed and brought dire consequences to the planet. Cities burned, and mountains were swallowed up, as humans suffered greatly. Thanks to an all-female magic group known as the Aes Sedai, the plagues were eventually defeated, but the threat of darkness remained. After the chaos has settled, the Aes Sedai learned that the dragon, the most powerful sorcerer of all time and leader of the men who started the war, has been reborn into a new infant. However, the mages do not know the child's identity and earnestly search for them over 2 decades with no success. Eventually, Moiraine, an Aes Sedai mage, and her bodyguard Lan narrow down the reincarnate's location to a rural region called the Two Rivers. The duo heads over there and checks into the local inn in preparation for their search. Meanwhile, in the village, 3 friends, Rand, Mat, and Perrin, hang out in the local inn. Minutes later, Rand's love interest 𝐒𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐤 enters the inn and is warmly welcomed by the villagers. After the festivities, the 2 lovebirds catch up on their respective lives, with 𝐒𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐤 delivering some heavy news. It turns out that the village's spiritual leader, Nynaeve, noticed 𝐒𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐤 possessed a gift of nature and asked her to work as an apprentice. However, this job role comes with huge sacrifices, as 𝐒𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐤 would be forbidden from marrying or bearing children. Rand is disappointed to hear this, but respects his lover's wishes and supports her decision. That evening, 𝐒𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐤 meets with Nynaeve as the duo listen to the wind together. Both in touch with nature, the 2 women sense something is amiss, but can't quite figure out what it is. With no way of determining the cause of the strange winds, they eventually ignore it and return to the village. That night, the villagers of Emond's Field hold an annual ceremony where they pay tribute to their dead. The townsfolk believe in a concept known as the Wheel of Time. This implies that all dead humans get reincarnated into new ones in a constant loop of time. As a result, they carry out the yearly ceremony to beseech the souls of their loved ones to return to them. All around town, the villagers light candles to remember their deceased and float them in a nearby river. After the ritual, the people return to the town square and begin their celebrations, as they leap and dance for joy. Mere moments into the party, the festive moods quickly turn to horror, as the town is suddenly raided by Trollocs. Massive 10-foot orc-like creatures. Armed with several weapons, the Trollocs swiftly attack the townsfolk, killing hundreds within minutes. The crowd instantly becomes chaotic as the villagers scramble to find a hiding spot. In the town inn, Rand and his dad Tam get ambushed by a Trolloc and narrowly dodge the swing of its axe. Father and son desperately fight for their lives as Tam attacks the monster with a spear thrust while Rand fires an arrow in quick succession. This manages to injure the creature, but it doesn't hurt much as the Trolloc recovers and easily overpowers them. The deadly monster then brutally injures Tam's shoulder and is seconds from finishing him off, when suddenly, Rand pierces the monster's throat from behind, instantly killing it. Like Rand, Perrin and his wife are also ambushed by a Trolloc. After a heated battle, Perrin finally defeats the creature, but things soon take an unfortunate turn as he makes a terrible mistake. In a state of panic, Perrin hears an eerie noise behind him and anxiously swings his axe backward without thinking. Horrified, Perrin discovers the noise actually came from his wife. When he realizes this, it is already too late, as he accidentally lodges his axe into her gut. Back at the town square, 𝐒𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐤 finds Nynaeve in the raging crowd, but the duo soon gets cornered by a Trolloc. As the 10-foot beast is about to slice them up, a light beam surrounds them and kills it. The duo swiftly looks towards the source of the light and spots Moiraine and Lan battling the creatures. Determined to protect the townspeople, Moiraine uses her magic to launch several elemental attacks on the monsters. She uses long-range lightning, fire, and earth projectiles to take down a handful of Trollocs, while Lan uses his sword to protect her from the nearby beasts. With the number of Trollocs dwindling, the townspeople stop scrambling and get the courage to fight back. Several villagers bind together and take down the ferocious creatures as the tides turn in their favor. However, this lucky trend is short-lived, as a new wave of Trollocs arrives. One of them grabs and flees with Nynaeve, as Egwene helplessly watches her mentor get taken away. Seeing the new army of Trollocs arriving, Moiraine supercharges her magic and uses it to launch an ultimate attack, as she hauls several rocks and boulders at them. This strike proves to be enough as it single-handedly destroys all the Trollocs. In the early hours of the following day, the villagers convene to count their losses. Rand reunites with Egwene and inquires about Nynaeve, hoping she'd help heal his unconscious dad's injury. However, he learns about Nynaeve's capture and feels helpless in the absence of a healer. Seeing the injured man, Moiraine intervenes and completely heals Tam's wounds within seconds. However, not everyone in town is that lucky, as the raid resulted in many casualties. The newly widowed Perrin mourns the loss of his wife and is silently consoled by his friend Mat. Right as the villagers lower their guard, they spot yet another army of Trollocs approaching the village. This one, much larger than the one before. Seeing this, Moiraine warns the town that the Trollocs are drawn to the dragon's reincarnation and will forever attack the town if the person remains here. Using the reincarnate's anticipated age, she narrows the possible suspects to Rand, Mat, Perrin, and Egwene. Moiraine then reveals to the 20-year-olds that one of them is the Dragon Reborn. Apparently, this mystery person is the only one strong enough to defeat the Dark One, and as a result would be continuously haunted by the dark forces. Left with no choice, the 4 potential reincarnates instantly leave town with Moiraine and Lan as they begin their journey to the White Tower, the home of the Aes Sedai.
A wind rose in the mountains of mist. The wind was not the beginning. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the wheel of time, but it was a beginning.